All right, we are live and we have our very special guest, Larry Hankin. Um, Everyone, say hello. It's me, Jeff Johnson, Scott Kolins, and Larry Hankin.
So I just want to tell everybody out there that I've told all my best stories right before I
Yeah.
went on the air.
I mean,
So
that is the problem with the getting to know each other pre-show is
yeah,
that
right.
that I'm gonna have to bug you to repeat some of those. Those were
Oh,
great
no, that
stories.
doesn't matter.
Larry, thank you so much for joining us. It's really great to have you on and meet you
Well,
and
it's
talk about
great to
art.
be here, and I'll tell you why. Because cartoonists are my best friends. I mean, I just they're great. I don't have many cartoonist friends, but no, they're the greatest. That's and after that comes music and then acting. But
Oh, really? That's the
cartoonist
hierarchy?
is yeah, because if you want to know the truth, it's in the funny papers.
Yeah.
That's a quote, and I truly believe that, and that's where I go for my info.
I would
Funny
definitely
paper.
agree with that.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So we were talking a little bit about your. I know that you have been in so many movies and so much TV, and you've done so much stage, and you're a writer and a producer and a stand-up comedian. And I know that you probably do a ton of interviews and conversations about that stuff. So I was hoping to maybe focus on your love of Mad Magazine in the beginning and your art today and your pursuit of some what you're doing with your paintings now. And you were just
No, I don't want to talk about that.
okay. Yeah, let's not talk about that. So Scott, one of the things you missed before is like I asked Larry if he was influenced by Mad Magazine and wanted to be an artist because of that, and he said that Larry, do you mind telling Scott
Tell all of us, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. What? So is there?
Oh, right. So you didn't think that what Mort Drucker and Jack Davis were doing is not something you thought you could do.
Oh, yeah. In other words, I collected the magazine. I had a stack that high of 2 or 3 years of, and I had because I moved
that
a
one?
lot. Oh man! Oh, wonderful! That's Jack Davis, right?
I don't know if that's.
Oh
Jack
no,
Davis.
no, that's a Hey Look. That's that Hey Look guy, Bill Elder, probably.
Yeah.
Bill
That
Elder.
was the first one.
See, I know, man.
Yeah.
That's my childhood right there.
Excellent.
Oh man, I haven't
Let's say
seen that
you were like
since I was
4
a
or
kid.
5, right?
Yeah.
Well, I started reading as soon as I could read and buy a comic. And
Right.
wow, what a blast! Thank you.
Here's some Jack Davis.
Yeah. Well, see, now you're into this is already into that's Jack Davis. That's
Yeah.
Jack Davis.
Yeah. But that's later.
That's almost into the magazine. And by the time it turned into a magazine as opposed to a comic book, I was done with it.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, I just didn't. It wasn't the same. It had articles and stuff, and it was black and white.
So from here, this one.
Yeah, as well as you're reading. Wow, man, you guys did your research. Look at that.
Well,
That
I mean,
is amazing.
we love
humor in
comics.
a jugular vein. Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, what's funny is like you said earlier that you didn't feel like you were influenced by these guys, but I found in some of your paintings, like there's like a real Mort Druckery feel.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Look at this. Holy cow! I didn't know that, but here's a cartoon I just did recently.
Yeah, is that interesting?
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there you go.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I noticed that a lot of your work has that same kind of like character, like exaggerated character, like almost like kind of over the top, not like over the top, but like acting. Each of your lines has some story
I
to
see
it.
what you're saying. Well, no, that comes from. I'll tell you who that comes from. Oh my God. I think it's Rubens or Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay.
I've always liked art. I mean, any kind of drawing, pictures, visual.
Right.
So I would go to museums a lot, and whenever I studied the drawings of the great masters, Rembrandt. I'm sorry, not Rubens. Rembrandt. Rembrandt's line drawings. Basically, he did it with brush. He drew with a brush.
Yeah.
But Leonardo da Vinci's, that red chalk that they use.
I've studied those.
His lines. So that's where my lines came from. I thought lines are very important, and I didn't associate it with cartooning until just now.
Oh, interesting.
But Jack Davis's drawings, his line drawings,
right?
And
There's a Jack
Bill
Davis.
Elder. These, see, like this. I would pour over this drawing. I know, but you see now. Okay, check this out. Okay, here's in the center. There was that monster, right?
Right.
In that drawing. Okay, go off to the side on the where is his signature? You see where his signature is, Jack Davis? See that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now go up there. There's an empty shirt with a red tie and a jacket.
The Invisible Man.
Okay, the Invisible Man. Right. Okay, that's where I would go. See, not the monster. I would look at all the little things in the background.
Right.
All those drawings.
Yeah.
That's what I see. That if you go straight up from where you were just looking, that Catman thing. That
it's a werewolf being at the moon.
Yeah. But all the little things, all the little drawings, and his hands, and his eyes, and just all that stuff. See, that's where I would. And his shoes.
Oh,
his long shoes. Clown shoes. I mean, that's what I would pour over. I would spend, if I had, a comic book and that drawing was in the comic book, I would spend like 20 minutes just on that one page.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw one of this. This is one of your figure.
There you go.
Yeah. Right.
I love that one.
No, I never associated it with that, but now I see it. The sun. That was the sun there.
And then you have a real expressive use. I mean, your figure work is great.
I was about to say gesture is nice. Yeah.
Well, that was a challenge. The reason that it looks that way, and I thought I solved the problem, but I see in each painting I set out a problem that I want to solve. Okay, here's the problem I wanted to solve with that painting, is I wanted to make sure that if you looked at that painting, it's a graphic, it's a print actually. Okay. But if you look at that, he had to be that ballet dancer had to be balanced on one foot. So he is perfectly balanced, but that was the challenge. His foot couldn't be, a millimeter either way, or he would fall over. So that was and I didn't use a ruler or anything. It's an eye thing.
Well, I mean, it's got that red feel to it. I bet you would have been a good comic book artist.
A lot of people, as I was growing up, would steer me in that direction. Say, hey, man, that's really cool. You should be a cartoonist. But no, because the comic books that I read a lot of comic books, Superman and all those things. The thing about Jack Davis's stuff and Superman and all the action comics was I could never quite get, and with the balance of that ballet dancer, the action physicality of like the one knee up and the one leg back. You get it? That action of going fast this way. I could never get that. I could never solve that problem of the speed of the jumping up into the air and going, and the one fist that way.
It's hard.
Yeah. I could never solve that problem. So I just said, nah, look, I'll be something else. But I love their work, and I would I just love it, man.
Interesting.
You're right. It's something we have to solve all the time.
Yeah, like that. But the sleek thing. Seeing the one knee up, there you go. Yeah. And the fist out.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
I mean, that's our bread and butter right there.
Yes. And I said, you guys got it, and I couldn't get it. And if I can't get it, then there's no use in going, I mean, do it or not. So, but I admired every time I saw a superhero with the one knee up and the fist out going into the air.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, man, cool.
I mean, honestly, that is the pose that I have made probably the most money on. Like,
Yes.
It is the staple. You mentioned Rembrandt, and he did a lot of like his self-portraits were always, I think, one of his best.
Oh, well, again, his detail, and he was like a what do you call it? The French, the Impressionist. If you look at his paintings and you go to the detail, like the shiny buttons or the shiny jewels, they're not jewels or shiny or buttons at all. They're just dabs that just look like, holy cow, that's not a necklace.
Right.
It's like an Impressionist thing.
Well, I
Like,
thought that.
well, I can't. There's no. Well, the best I could say would be the land. That would be. See, it looks like a landscape. It's nothing. It's like schmoozing. It's pop, 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 pop. Or the clouds. Well, Rembrandt did that to an incredible. Where if you stand like 2 feet away, it looks. Oh, that's a perfect necklace and a ruffled white collar that goes around. And then you go up real close, which is what I did. Everybody was standing back in the museum, and I'd be like 2 inches from the painting, going, "Wow, man, that's cool." And it would disappear. The jewel would disappear into just a blob
spots of color.
And
the illusion would go away, and you just see the paint itself.
Yeah, and like Manet and stuff. His water lilies. They weren't water lilies at all.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like scumbling and stuff. And
Mhm.
well, like wallpaper. That's not wallpaper. It's just just boop, 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 whatever.
Right.
But I never thought about it in that way until this discussion. I never
Interesting.
thought about it. That was just a horror thing. I just wanted to do something really well. I copied it from a picture. There was a picture. It didn't look like that, but it was a crazy guy shouting at the cameraman.
I like that.
I just made him crazy. I just made him, weird.
Well, I mean, looking through your work, there's just a lot of life and motion in your stuff that I think there's
a lot of life and motion in me.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I just try to do my best. I mean, because I really respect the graphic image. And so I just try to do it well. I just don't want to insult anybody's eyeballs, basically.
A lot of your stuff is pretty impressionistic, but then you did this really cool, this is a very realistic elephant.
Well, it's realistic, but it's really not realistic at all. Like, for instance, look at his skin. It's all tones with no, pinks and grays and blue. Well, not blues, pinks and grays and different shades. But that's impressionistic. And then if you look at the line of the head and his back and the line of his trunk, it's 2 different lines. But I started to see that in the paintings in museums. Is their lines were always interesting, even if it was drawn with a pencil.
Right.
The line has to have interest. It's not just a line. It gets thicker and thinner. And I mean, so I paid attention to all that. I would look at Leonardo da Vinci's landscapes, just his drawing. No, not like Mona Lisa, which is a landscape in the background, but just his landscapes. And I would notice that, his lines of the mountains, like there was interest in everything. Just great. I love drawing and paintings. You can tell, but I still get a. I
was gonna say, do you still get a chance to do do you carve out a certain amount of time to do the painting, or when the muse strikes you,
here's what I do. I actually use it. It's a useful tool. It's not an art form to me. It's a useful tool. I'm an actor, so I have to memorize lines. I have to do a lot of reading, or I kind of dropped out now. I want to just do my own thing, which is writing. So I write a lot. I'm a compulsive writer. Stories, narratives.
Excellent.
And I'll sit for like 2-3 hours just typing and or sitting and thinking about.
That's listen, I know that pose. You're working. Staring off into space is putting the hours in.
Yeah. So So because of the Picasso pictures, if you ever see a picture of Picasso in his studio, he's always, about
Right.
20 or 30 feet away from the painting, which
Yeah.
is huge.
Mm.
Just like that.
That's the pose.
So what I would do is, because I write so much, which is black and white in its words, I just, to take a break, I just go and start to paint or draw. Just lines and color. That's all. It's for my eyes. I want color. I want movement. I want lines. I just don't want words and black and white pages. So
what mediums do you like? What's your go-to?
Oh, well, the best thing, I was, what is it called? Gouache. I don't know. Or what's not oils? What's
the acrylics?
The other thing. What?
Acrylics?
Yeah.
Acrylic. That's what I use. So acrylic, I had all the brushes and everything like that. And acrylic, because I think you use water, but with the oils, it's too complicated with the turpentine and this, and you have to wait for it to dry, and
it's not satisfying. Long, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not.
It's beautiful, but come on, man, just
I actually, one of the reasons I use pencil and ballpoint pen and ink is because I had never had the patience to learn the mechanical side, the chemical side of painting. It's like I don't have time for that.
So I would just do it for my eyeballs. That was just getting some color in there, just something else, and then I'd go back. So I use it as a R&R, just for my eyes, but sometimes I would sit for hours doing that, like those paintings there and the other paintings that you just showed. That took me hours and hours, or maybe. I don't work on them for long, like over days or weeks. I'll work on one thing for 2 or 3 days, but I'll put in hours, just because color is better than words. I mean, my eyes. I'm thinking of my eye. So I'll just do it for 2 or 3 days, finish it, and then go on to the next one. So I don't spend a lot of time on them, but I was explaining something. What it was I was going towards is Photoshop. Once Photoshop hit, I didn't have to mix any colors, man.
Right. That's good.
You have a million colors you can just dab in, and you don't have to remix it to match.
Right.
You just click on there you go.
This is a Photoshop one, right?
Well, they're all Photoshops. Well, everything that you put up there, but I was painting with Photoshops. In other words, I just wasn't mixing colors, but all of them were drawings. They all started off as ballpoint, black ink drawings on newspaper.
Excellent.
And after a while, I started to always show a little bit of newspaper, the newspaper underneath to prove. See, I show you right.
I have one of the. Right.
Oh wow, that's good. Yeah, that's my masterpiece.
I love that one.
That one, because that one I didn't spend a lot of time on it.
Right.
But I did spend a lot of time working on the touch. Look at that circular bottom line there, the bottom of the glass. That blew my mind when I did that. But
that it looks great.
Yeah, but that one line there, that took me a second. I just went, but I must have worked on doing that kind of line for maybe hours.
Right.
Oh, sure.
I was once told, I asked a watercolor painter once when I was a kid. I know this is a very standard response, but I asked a painter when I was a kid how long something took, and he said it took me 15 years and 15 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
That always stuck with me. I think I found one. Here's one of the newspapery ones.
Oh well, yeah. You see, I always leave the newspaper. Can you see the arrow? My arrow?
I cannot see your arrow.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, I've been pointing with it. But in that one, in both of them, in this one, no, the one I'm pointing. Well, yeah, the newspaper is there on his face. So, and the reason I did that, I think I already mentioned it. The reason I did it was people are not going to believe that I painted these. These are too good. I said
Right.
to myself.
Uh,
I got to prove to myself that
Right.
no, I didn't. This is not traced.
Right.
These are drawings on a newspaper. So I always left it to say, nah. I just there's the original.
Yep. See, there's a little. Right.
Where's the newspaper? I don't know where it is. I always try to leave a little hint of it.
Where
I don't know.
is?
like on the bench or something, there might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I didn't, but there, you see, there.
Yeah,
That's-
There's some newspaper in
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
just to prove that it's a drawing, man.
Yeah. It just starts. The inspiration is this one. There
And
you
then
go.
I
There's
would
another
see,
one
I
of
would
those.
draw it. Yeah, see, like that lady. So
Mhm.
what I would draw is I would read a newspaper. I had a habit of in the morning I would get on my bike and I'd ride to a coffee shop, and I would sit outside the coffee shop, get a
Mhm.
newspaper, the LA Times, and I would read a newspaper. I mean, just reading just to get the sun, get outside, ride my bike.
Mhm.
And then I would go to the newspaper to look at any kind of interesting pictures
Right.
that I could copy. And then I would just draw whatever I saw inside the picture, somebody in some sort of weird gesture. And I would just draw it right next to it. And then when I was finished with the little pen and ink or pencil drawing,
Mhm.
I would just rip that out, the drawing. And I would take it back to the photo to the photo, a
Yeah.
copy, and I would just copy it into my my computer.
Right.
And I'm an old guy, and I would my hair's white,
Yeah.
trying to catch up. And then I would use and I would color it in, just color it in. So
Well, it
it was
sounds.
very easy.
I was gonna say
It's
it's,
very
that
easy.
sounds like some of the process where you were telling me about. I used to do alphabet doodles as a kid,
Yeah,
and that seems
right.
kind of like an extension of that, where you would take something that would inspire you just to come up with a cool drawing. I think that's really great.
Oh, well, yeah, you can make that connection. I mean, I never made connections to
Mhm.
why I was doing something, but of course, I mean, everything goes in.
Mhm.
I mean, your subconscious is always on. I mean,
Right.
well, subconscious, hyperconscious, whatever. It's always absorbing, and then you
Right.
just use what you can or what you want. But I never know where it comes from. But I guess like 15 years and 15 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I mean, just the habit of Scott. Larry was telling me that he and his friend in high school, and because Scott and I did nothing but draw in high school, also, is that you guys would pass back and forth cursive letters and then make up drawings
The
from those
cartoon
letters.
around it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Using
cool
that as a
exercise.
starting line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
here's what I use as an example. See, it was a bee, and I made it into a lion,
Mhm.
right?
Nice.
So that's that's where it all started.
Right. Right. I love that. I love that.
No, just to add something, that's where it all started. Yeah, but there's always a yeah, but, and
Right.
the yeah, but is, but we're not taking into consideration the dislike my father and I had for each other.
Oh. Right.
That goes into the mix too,
Right. Because he
just
wanted you to be a
generally.
doctor or a lawyer. Right.
Yes.
So-
Well, yeah. In other words, using cartoons as an escape mechanism, whatever. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not any different for me. When I was a kid, I found that at home I would be left alone when I was drawing because it seemed like I was busy doing something. Right. And so and that's the only time that you got any peace is like, oh, I guess he's doing his thing. I'll just won't bother him now. So it was
Right.
always not just an escape, but kind of like a fortress that you would build around yourself.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, but that's true. I mean, sometimes I'll notice it now. I never noticed it when I was a kid, but
Mhm.
now, like nowadays, I get on my. Those were done years ago, but I still get on my bike. I've moved to a different place now, but I
Mhm.
still get on my bike and I ride over to a coffee house
Right.
that's in a mall that's outside. And I will either read a newspaper or a book or draw, just like in the old days. But it's an escape mechanism because now I'm recognized.
Ah,
So,
Mhm.
but people respect you, even as their parents.
They do. This is great.
If you're busy intently doing something, they won't
Yeah.
come over,
Right.
So I spend an hour, just intently doing something,
Yeah, it's that piece.
and they
So
leave you alone. It's kind of cool. And then when I, want to talk to somebody, I'll just stop being intense,
right.
and they come over. Oh, hi, are you that guy?
Yeah. I bet you get that.
Which is
you
the
get that
name.
a lot.
I'm writing a book now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
writing a book about my adventures in show business, and it's called That Guy. So look
Oh,
for it.
There you go.
It'll come out in
yeah.
about 6 months, I guess. But
Excellent. So are you just recounting stories or telling is it a memoir?
there are
type of thing?
anecdotes about things that happen on the set or right off of the set, and nothing, no secret,
Right, right.
exposés of anybody's sexual encounters. But no, it's just weirdness and funny things that just happen to me because of who I am and where I am and who's
Right.
around me. These
Can you get
anecdotal things that are just bizarre, man, that just happen to me.
excellent?
And they're so all through show business, these happen to me,
I
with
bet.
with the stars,
Yeah. I would be remiss. So one of the things that when your publicist called me and asked if you wanted, it would be cool to interview if you wanted to be on the show. I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan. My friend who can't be on the show at the moment, but Steve and we used to quote you all the time from your scene in The Sure Thing. I don't know I know that movie was a long time
no,
ago.
I know, but which people are quoting me all the time, but I don't know
Right.
what.
So in The Sure Thing, you say, a sure thing. All my life, I never had a sure thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, kid, if you pay the tickets, I'll get you in the saddle. But so
Yeah.
like that movie was I mean, obviously it hit us at the right time. We were teenagers, but Jack, that line alone, we used to say all the time. And it was almost kind of like a call to action. Like, okay, it's a sure thing. I will get this to happen. And it wasn't just a funny line, but it was kind of like an inspiration almost to be like, oh, okay, it's a sure thing. It's a sure thing.
It was good writing.
Yeah, it was definitely good writing.
I remember that line because I thought it was a good line. I mean, as doing the character, I thought I got to get that one out clear and nice because I like that line. It's a true line. It is.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
And every once in a while, because I chose to always do these small parts. It's a small role in a big picture, but it stands out because for some reason. They gave me these parts, or they had me audition for these parts, which had great lines. And I think they kind of cast me in it for that reason, that he can read these lines great, or that line great, or he can do a good job with that. Or this is good for Larry. Like get Larry to do this.
Right. I mean, that's
probably related to your stand-up.
Yes, exactly. I think is a direct line. Yeah. And the stand-up was from the fact that I'm just a funny guy. I mean, that comes from I was born to be funny. I mean, there's a connection of da 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 da.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because I would say that I mean, I know that I've said it a couple times already, but I think your drawing has real rhythm to it. Even the sitting character has motion and rhythm to it, and I mean,
that's putting in time in museums, man, and looking at drawings to see how they draw. I mean, I'm not looking at the graphic overall big picture. I'm looking at how did they do this. I would go up to Manet paintings and figure out how he held the brush, whether it was overhand, whether it was dabbing, whether he was stippling it, whether he's doing long strokes. And the size of the brush. No, man, I would get into it. I mean, when I like something, man, forget it. You do not exist.
You're speaking our language. This is one of the reasons Scott and I are friends, but also professional artists. I mean, one of the things I love, I'm just going to gush about this particular drawing a lot because it has something in it that I always try and get in my work is there's beautiful flow from his shoulder all the way through his head and back down the arms down in it. Your eye is led right to the cuffs and then it's beautiful. The figure is remarkably composed and it tells it tells a story with very simple lines and graphic shapes, but it's an
That's not a
eloquent story.
mistake. That's
Oh yeah,
not that's flow and consciousness. That the
yeah.
line that you just said, how that no that I I wanted it to be that way, and also the black of his t-shirt, how it goes around his back and down. Yeah, that's and then the squareness to the roundness, the squareness of the bench to no, that's all
The
kind of
shapes and all that are very good.
it's subconscious, but it's just in between. I'm conscious of it, but I'm not. But
Right.
I'm talking to artists now, so I can talk this way. I would never say this to an ordinary human being.
Well, I mean, one of the things we talked about the hyper consciousness and the
Thanks, Larry.
subconsciousness a little bit earlier, and I definitely think that when you're drawing something, you exist in this place that's kind of in between, like analytical thought and emotion, right? Like,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
so you have the knowledge of structure, straights against curves, solids against lines, right? You have all that knowledge, but then while you're drawing it, it's got to feel right.
It's got to
And
pop.
so it's got to pop, right? It's got to sing. Yeah.
It's got to sing. It's got to walk by itself. There's all those terms, but
Right.
yes, and it's very those words, those descriptions are in my consciousness. Not the exact line, but those kinds of things. You want to pay attention to those because the big guys, the grown-ups, you know,
Right.
Leonardo
Right.
and all those guys.
Yeah.
That's what they were paying attention to. Sfumo. Do you know what sfumo is? I just
No, I've never heard that term.
Okay. Well, me neither. I've heard the term. I never knew what it meant, and I finally found out what it meant. But it's a term that the Italians invented for Leonardo's paintings, and
Wow.
sfumo relates to smoke, fumes, sfumo.
Yeah.
And what it related to in Leonardo that he almost invented, but nobody could actually duplicate what Leonardo did, is the curve of your say you're going to paint my face, and there's the background. So there's a differentiation between the lines of my face and the background.
Right.
Okay, and Leonardo never had a line. What he did was he blended that, and then there was no line, but then there was this space, and then there was that wall back there.
Yeah.
And that connection or disconnection or no connection between this surface and that wall,
right,
was called sfumo. The closer you looked at the difference between this plane and that plane in Leonardo's paintings, there is none. You can never find the line that is, oh, here's where his head ends and that wall begins. In Leonardo's, it's sfumo. It's like smoke.
Wow.
It's and painters would try like hell to make no line. Nobody could do it. Only Leonardo.
That makes me think of this painting you did.
Well, this was just an experiment. I mean, this was just, I made it. I wanted to see the look on that guy's face. That was a picture of a man who was discombobulated.
Right.
I mean, it was like make a carpenter trying to figure out to put the nail here or there, or drill the hole here and there. He was contemplating something, but I just saw the look on his face. So I drew the look on his face, but I said that look could be many, many things. So I said, what if he had blood running down his eye? Then you would connect the look on his face to the stun of the blow to his head.
Right.
And then I said, well, now he's confused. So let's make confusion all around him. So that's why those lines. So it was, I'm trying to paint thinking. That's what that painting was, that drawing was. But, it's just an experiment to try to see if I could make you think of what I had in mind.
Right. Well, I mean, you're telling one of the things I like about all your work, it all seems to go together, is that you're always telling the story of right? Whether it's the
Right.
painting or a newspaper thing, or even the letter doodles, right? You're like, or
Yeah.
even that thing you were telling me earlier about the Droodles book, right? Like, what is the story?
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. What's the story? Oh, let me
Yeah.
see if can I try it on Scott?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sure.
All right, Scott.
Master? Okay,
Here you go.
Scott. What is that? This is called. There was a book of these things. They're called Droodles, and you have to figure out what that is. An exact drawing of.
Mhm.
I don't know. My first thought is that it's some sort of boat.
Well,
Here's the thing,
close,
Scott
but
and I are
no
too
cigar whatsoever.
Right,
Whoa.
Scott and I are too literal. Larry, tell him what it is. Actually,
Okay, it's a tipped over telephone booth with a man playing a trombone in it.
right? See, you guys, Scott, we get paid to be professional Imagineers, but we missed that we got caught in the boat.
That's what Jeff guessed also.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it was the front of one of the boxes had a little bit of a tilt
Right.
to it, or a front to it, so it almost seemed like the
Literalist.
Yeah. Yep. Literalist. that is sadly. You got us. Sure. And then there's this. I like this one. This one has so much like. One of the things that I was glad to talk about Mad Magazine and Mort Drucker and Jack Davis, because I definitely see in your work an expression and an exaggeration of faces that those guys.
Wow, man! You know, you've mentioned this a couple of times now as we were talking over the minutes or hours or whatever, and now I'm beginning to see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, in other words, I didn't think of that, but again, it's all in your subconscious. It's stored there, and I use what applies. That comes from Picasso.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, no, I just do it to make the drawing work. I'm not like trying to steal from that guy.
No, but
I'm
like
just trying to make the picture work.
I am way too much of a literalist. Like I found that it wasn't until I started doing animation that I actually learned to exaggerate a character more and a facial expression more. Like my early career is all too literal.
Well, but it's also exaggeration and leaving shit out.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. The exaggeration is, that's Larry just going, well, no, his nose can be a lot bigger.
Right.
But it was the kind of nose. It had to fit. Okay.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, no, I don't have to draw it all. You know what, Larry Rivers? Are you familiar with Larry Rivers?
No.
Okay, he's a contemporary.
Okay.
He's the modern New York painter.
Okay.
Well, they passed. This was in the 60s. Larry Rivers was really big.
Okay.
But Larry Rivers was the guy who that's a direct steal, man. I'm not ashamed to steal from the best.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Rivers would draw portraits and leave out everything except maybe an eye, an ear, one nostril, the bottom lip, and if I'm drawing you, like this, I mean, maybe it would be just the top of your knuckle and that, and you would get the whole picture.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he would draw something in the back, but the eye would be a perfect, exact eye. Mm-hmm. Not like a Rembrandt eye, which is, a dot and a thing. And if you get close, no, it would be like a Norman Rockwell eye, maybe, or who's even a literalist, those guys who paint and you think it's a picture.
Yeah.
So he would draw an eye and then leave out everything else, and then have maybe sketches of just an eyebrow or something like that.
I like that.
And
I like making those
guy
choices.
has a great idea, and I'm going to use it. So in a lot of look at the guy with the shush, the guy behind one. That's all. A lot is the wall. I mean, the wallpaper is all left out.
Right.
And the rest of his collar is left out.
Right.
That's Larry Rivers right there. I mean,
excellent.
That's
yeah.
That was conscious.
Right. Well, I mean, it's interesting how much like I studied John Buscema a lot when I was younger, he used to draw Conan and the Avengers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so every once in a while I will draw something that especially if I haven't done that particular drawing in a long time, the kid drawing, the kid version of that, which is basically a copy John Buscema, will pop out. I'm like, oh, there's that thing that I looked at when I was a child. Now it's still in there, and it just came to the surface. I always find that fascinating.
You know, speaking of Conan, the paintings, the drawings, the graphics. I found in a junk pile, or maybe I don't know, some sort of a store. I bought it for a nickel or whatever. It was a painting. It was one of those Conan drawings, but it was big. It was like a poster.
Okay.
Now, and I've lost it, but I always revered it. I always had it above my desk. And I just wonder if you guys have ever seen this. What it was a battlefield. You know, the Conan desecration, apocalypse battlefield behind. There was a guy on a black horse. It was a knight, kind of a black knight on a black horse with some sort of a weapon. But the title of the Black Knight, because it was very powerful, the knight, it was a powerful horse, almost like a Clydesdale.
Yeah,
it was a powerful horse. Black.
Sound like a Frazetta.
Yeah, okay. And the knight, the Black Knight, was a very powerful and awful knight. And I think the title was Death.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, wow, man, that's it. And I would just, that's the best title to paint. I mean, that's it, man. I hung it up there, and that was it. And I lost it. I don't know, in a move or whatever. And that was the only piece of graphic artwork that I still pine over.
Oh yeah,
I want that. But now my question is, does that sound like the Conan artist who would have drawn that? Because it had echoes of those kind of drawings. Conan, you know.
I think I found it. Hang on a second. See if I can't.
If it was an ink drawing,
God,
it easily could have been Buscema.
Yeah, but also it might have just been Frazetta.
Yeah,
It's one of
the
those
horse
guys.
stuff you're talking about sounds like a Frazetta.
Yeah. See if I can.
I'm trying to get it.
And then there was I think it was like the lighting behind him was the smoke of the death battle.
Yeah.
You know, the smoking fire and shit.
Yeah,
hey, Larry, some of our people took your challenge of what your drawing was.
Which one? What do you call it? I don't get it.
You said it was the telephone booth with the trombone.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Somebody was watching our show. Old school said he thought it was a vampire lying in a coffin.
Oh,
vampire lying in a coffin. Well, I don't get it. What would that be, a vampire?
Well, he said it was an excited vampire.
An excited vampire.
Oh, an erection.
yeah. Hey, Larry, is this the piece?
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super famous.
Fucking it, man.
Yeah, that is Frank Frazetta. That's Death Dealer.
Yep.
It's one of his classics. It's an amazing.
I had a poster of that.
Yeah.
Well, where did you get that? I got to get. Wow, man. Thank you. Holy cow! I'm glad.
I'm sure you can order those posters online.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to write that down though. But wait a minute. I mean, I'm serious. I want.
Larry, I'll just send you one.
Okay. Well, either send me the. Yeah, I want to, because I want to blow it up. I want to and put it up on my wall.
Sure.
Well, but send me however even if it's that big, I'll get it.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic one.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Mad Comics and what is this?
Frazetta. Frank Frazetta. Yeah.
Oh, what's the date on it? 1974?
Yeah, it's pretty.
73.
78, 70, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Wow, man. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah. Well, we're huge. I mean, we're huge Frazetta fans.
Oh, yeah.
Me too, man. That was the best. I love that painting.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Larry, I had a question.
Yeah.
When I was looking at the different stuff and thinking about how perfectly you were aged for Mad Magazine right when it started and all that kind of stuff, it also hit me that you were around for the whole McCarthy era and the comic books being under trial stuff. You were like 14, 15 or something like that when it happened. So you would have seen the trials live on TV and all that stuff that they televised.
Yeah, I don't remember it being about comic books, though. I do remember the McCarthy trial.
Well, there was Bill Gaines himself was part of there was a
Bill Gaines.
Comic books.
Bill Gaines, yeah.
He testified at the beginning of it. It was all like historical stuff, but you were there hearing that stuff.
Yeah, but all I remember is, do you not have any, I don't know.
Oh, the McCarthy stuff. Yeah. Do you not have any shame, sir?
Do you not have any shame, sir?
Right.
Yeah, and that got to him. But no, I don't remember that it was about comic books. I just remember it was about the Reds and communism and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But good question. Thank you for that question. Thank you.
Well, scary times to have lived through. I mean, we've lived through.
Well, here we are.
Now.
Here we are.
Exactly.
The Russians again. God damn it.
I know, right? Hey, Larry. So I told you that story about my friend who we quoted you from back in the day. Here he is. This is Steve Jones.
Steve Jones. Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Hi, Larry. I'm sorry. I've had no internet all morning. It's just come back.
Down a little bit. Just down.
My volume?
Yeah, just a bit.
All right. How's that?
Tales of the Crypt, right there.
Yeah.
So I missed the internet. Did you already say a sure thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing.
We talked about that.
My whole life, I never had a sure thing.
I never had a sure thing. Great writing. Great writing. I always love, like Mr. Heckles. That's totally written. I made up nothing. I brought nothing to that except me. Right. It was on the page. That's what they say in acting. If it's not on the page, it doesn't work.
Well, Larry, your art is amazing. I think, look, I studied acting in college. I dabbled with a little acting before becoming a professional cartoonist. And there's quite a few actors that sort of keep busy with painting or drawing or whatever that really they shouldn't be posting their stuff. And you're legit, this is really, for a professional actor, you're a tremendously good artist too,
Well, it's what I wanted to be all along. I either wanted to be an artist to draw, cartoons, anything, a painter, an artist, or a comedian, a clown. I wanted to be a clown. Right. I wanted to be a painter or a clown, either one.
I love that you're writing this book though too, because I was just listening to the interview on my phone because I not through the satellite because I couldn't see any pictures. I could just hear your voices, but now that I got it back, but because I was thinking that the title's so perfect because you represent this interesting class of actor. Like you got your movie stars, you got your series regulars, and then there's guys like yourself that have literally, you're on Barney Miller. Which I think all three of us could probably, if me, Scott, and Jeff hummed the Barney Miller theme, it would probably put us to sleep. That was probably around, it was on at 10 o'clock, and that's when our parents were putting us to bed. But I think, and it's interesting, Jonathan Banks, who you worked with on up until
Banks. Breaking Bad.
Exactly. He's an actor that was kind of interesting at that point in his career. He kind of got a series regular part, but he'd mostly been an actor very much like yourself, where it's like, oh, I know that guy. What do I know him from? And luckily for me and Jeff, it's like, well, look, you represent this one quintessential moment in this film, but it's like,
a lot of people say that about me. I mean, that's why I'm known as that guy. Mm-hmm. Is they say, well, you've been in a lot of things, and they always say, "Oh, you did that. You're that guy who did that."
Right.
And then Friends or Breaking Bad or 200. I do a lot of interviews, and I've been told I have done 200, shows. Anyway, they say it was a small part, but it always stands out. I always remember you from that, and that's where I got that guy. Oh, you're that guy who.
Right.
But yeah, Banks is another guy, and I was very proud to be able to work with him. Unfortunately, we never got along. I would always say the wrong thing. I mean, not on purpose. I would just, he would be talking to a woman, trying to chat her up,
right.
And I would try to help him.
Yeah.
And I would say the wrong thing, and
right.
He would just look at me like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
Jeff's had that experience a few times.
I have.
Jeff trying to get somewhere, and then
something else, happened.
Yeah, a friend of ours likes to help.
Don't thank you for the help. Oh, Lenny Bruce. This is a direct quote from a Lenny Bruce book he wrote in the 60s. It was called because the cops were busting him all the time and trying to quote unquote cure you of your drug habit. You know, so the title of his book was "Help Stamp Out Help." Yeah, but don't help me. Thank you, Larry. Don't help me. Okay?
I got this under control. Thanks, pal. That's great.
The sure thing.
Yeah,
I had a sure thing until Hankin showed up.
yeah. That's fantastic. Hey, so we're getting close to the time that you gave us. I wanted to ask you if
I'm
you
not
had...
leaving.
Hey, no, I'm happy to continue talking about comics and Frazetta. There was I know that you a lot of you have a couple of them on your wall back there, and I know that you made big posters out of some of those smaller napkin drawings.
Yes. Well, here. Okay, just don't go away. Stay right there.
Okay.
Half a second.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Excellent.
So, all right, now continue with what you were saying, because I had
Right. So I saw.
Okay.
So in
now
the
you were
description
saying
box.
something about we're running out of time and what?
Oh no. Well, I wanted before we ran out of time. I wanted to.
I pulled my earphones out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
Before we
There
run
he
out of
is.
time,
okay,
I
cool.
wanted to let people know where they could find some of your work. I know that you have a
Right.
website, and I know that you took some of your thumbnail drawings that we've shown here tonight, and you or this morning, and you blew them up big, and so they're available as posters and as T-shirts. And in the description box below, I listed your various sites.
Okay.
So-
Here, you see that painting right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Drum roll. T-shirt.
Nice,
Nice.
excellent.
T-shirt. Okay. And where's the other one? Here it is. Just this one is up here. This T-shirt, this painting that I put on a T-shirt replaced the bruschetta. I didn't have it anymore, so now this is right up there, and here it is right now. You showed this before. The elephant.
Right.
Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I got a whole bunch of them, and
Yeah, that elephant is available really big too.
for $13,
Yeah,
what the
that's a
fuck?
great one.
There's another one.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's the commercial. So the website is thereallarryhankin.com. Don't go to larryhankin.com because it's been kidnapped and being held for ransom.
Son of a
And
bitch.
seriously, and I won't pay it.
Right.
So I got my, thereallarryhankin.com, and my paintings are up there. My film shorts are up there. My own film shorts.
That's great because I hated that fake Larry Hankin anyway. I never liked him.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh yeah, it's really a bad, the guy. Well, he's from Canada,
Oh, I hate that. Right, right.
Those Canadians, they're great. I really like them. But
There you
this is I love this one. That's my favorite. That's a recent one.
I like that one. Yeah.
For some reason, people like that cartoon. I it's a cartoon. But a lot of people, I got a lot of hits on that.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why, because to me, it's just another drawing. I don't get it.
I think
But
it sums up our mood, Larry.
Yeah.
What?
I think it sums up the mood of the country.
Oh, yes. Maybe that's it. I think you're right.
You
Yeah,
tapped
I
into the
think you're right.
zeitgeist for sure.
I think you're actually right.
Yeah, no,
I
I think
really
you
do.
did. Yeah, I think you really did. That's excellent. Yeah, so go to the Real Larry. There's the sites down below. Follow him and get his art and check out his art. And obviously when his book comes out. So it's that guy. When do you think
that
it's
guy? It's
Okay.
called That Guy. It's
Very
a cautionary tale. If you're thinking about going into show business, read the book.
Can you share one of the quick anecdotes from it?
Well, they're long story. Well, I kind of did. They're let me see. They're long stories. They're about
Okay.
Each chapter is about from 3 pages to 15 pages. They're just explanation, but they're just like me and Clint Eastwood, and it's just in other words, a star and me, and what happened off camera right before we started shooting or right after we stopped shooting.
Excellent.
Like either it was a funny fight we had. I mean, an argument about lines, or it was just a story that was just kind of interesting to people who are into acting or movies. They're just interesting. That's funny.
That's great that you're giving the advice to not go into it. I
Yes.
remember I was lucky enough, one of my college professors was Tom Lehrer, the musical humorist.
Tom Lehrer, man. Yeah. Are you kidding?
Tom Lehrer is also, turns out, a brilliant mathematician. So
I'm sure.
Half the year he taught math at Harvard, and then the other half of the year he taught a class on the American musical at Santa Cruz, which is where I went to school.
Him and Lewis Carroll, both mathematicians that wrote great stuff.
And but Tom felt it was his. I only got into the class because I hadn't declared my major yet. Like, he hated theater majors. So he's like, oh, who's this tall blonde guy who doesn't know what he's doing with his life? All right, I'll take him in. He can kind of carry a tune. But then he just felt it was his message to say, do not go into acting unless there's absolutely nothing else you could possibly do. You know, he's like, it's the worst. Just don't do it. Do not do it.
You're right.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You know, it's funny.
Like, you think about, everything is big salaries, long eyelashes, and gold statues. No.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, that's that. Like,
just
we're
driving out to the valley for an audition alone.
Yeah.
Was a drag. Okay. But anyway.
You're right. It sounds very much like being a comic artist. It's something that if you could do something else.
No wonder we get along so well.
Yeah. Probably
there's a few more girls in acting than in comic book drawing.
Yeah,
I think.
just a problem.
I'll give you that.
Equal out. Don't sell those shorts.
I've never had a sure thing, man.
So,
I think it's why it resonates so much for all of us.
oh yeah,
That's what the cautionary tale is all about.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If that guy has already been taken, I said never had a sure thing could be a good backup.
Right.
title.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Larry, for joining us. This has been amazing.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure talking to cartoonists, to anybody but actors. But no, talking about art. And I knew that cartoonists had to be into the museum stuff and the because that's where it's at.
I mean, anyone who is a professional artist has probably spent their time studying the masters and sitting in a museum looking at something and trying to figure out how the hell did this guy do this? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if you look at my favorite is Rembrandt. If you look at his pen and ink drawings, don't look at the subject. Look at the little people on the side. They're just like dots, and they'll just go like this. And it's a face, and it has an expression and everything.
Right.
So just look at the edges, man, of his paintings. Just
like
that.
Davis piece. Yeah.
Just like that. That little skull on the side, the hair up there of the monster, the lady Frankenstein, her hair. Just
Johnson.
Little things, man. That's
Do you have any of your sketch doodles around? Do you have any of your ballpoint pen drawings by hand?
My stuff.
I saved them, but
You should show them
here's one right here. Here. So this is a painting that's up on the site, but this is the original here. Oh, this is the original drawing. Okay.
Oh, cool. Oh, wait.
Wait a minute. When I took them apart, I pasted them together.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's the original drawings.
And that turned into this.
And that's what I put. There it is.
Oh, okay.
You see?
I love that.
So you now know what I do.
Yeah.
I make little drawings and I blow them up and make that. Wow, that was
I like both versions.
There you go. Process.
From small things to large things. It's how it works.
And
That's
I just
great.
color it in. But but if you keep doing it, look, all you have to do is keep doing it and you'll get better. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
A surgeon, if you want to be a surgeon, keep operating until you stop.
No matter.
People stop dying. And when they stop dying,
you got
it.
Yeah.
This is why it's always good to practice on dead people.
Right. Well, I mean, practice is practice, Steve. You can take it where you can get it.
That's right.
Yeah.
How do you get to, the old saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, man.
Practice. Yeah. One step at a time.
I thought it was the bus. I guess I never heard that one.
Yeah. All right. Wait, Larry, one one last. This is the comic book bread and butter. Knee up.
Do a what?
That's the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
pose.
Oh, that's the pose, man. That's
Yeah.
the pose.
He's just about
That
done.
is the pose. The knee up, the fist out.
Yep, that's the money
Yeah.
shot. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, Larry, thank you very much for joining us. It's been amazing.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Scottster,
Yeah.
and Stephen. Thank you very much.
So
It
glad
was
I
great.
was able
It
to
really
sneak
was
in.
great. Oh,
Yeah.
so when the book comes out, let's just talk about the book. This will be a 6 months.
Oh yeah,
Down
yeah.
the
So
road.
when the book comes out, we'll have you back on and we can talk about the book and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then cartoons. I'm fine with that, man.
awesome, excellent.
Maybe we can get you to draw next time on camera.
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll have like John Nagy. Oh, who's that guy? Yeah, do you remember that John Nagy, the artist? Yeah,
Yeah.
like him. He would draw.
Excellent. Right
Okay,
on.
guys.
It's a
Take
date.
it easy.
All right,
Great
everybody.
talking, Larry.
Take care.
You too.